But I think there is a simpler step, which is a much harder step. But by changing the way we. Welcome back to the 7th episode of Jotty's Quote Review, a series where I give my thoughts on quotes that I've heard which resonate with me. And today's quote is one by Gabor Mate, which I heard in one of his podcasts. And the quote is, "Think new thoughts about old things. Think new thoughts about old things." And this one really stood out to me. And I realized that there's a pattern on the things that I talk about in the content that I make. And the pattern seems to be about perspective and different perspectives. But I guess I'm figuring out the things that I'm really passionate about. And it's asking you to think new things about old thoughts, because most of the time we go through life and we become very fixed in the way we see things, in the way we perceive things, in the way we react to things. And I think it's really important to question that sometimes. And this quote is challenging our creativity, and it's also challenging our assumption. It's challenging, are we making an assumption about this? Is this a fact? Or is this just our opinion, a projection that we're making based on something that we know from the past? And I think it's important to think new thoughts about old things, because when we are able to expand our perspective, we can go through life without having a fixed mindset, and we become more open to experiences, we become more open to people and just opportunities in life. And it feels like there's less friction in life because we understand more things at a deeper level. And the more you know, the more you understand, the more dots you can connect. And then all of a sudden, we start to realize that life isn't just the way we look at it, but it's actually a combination of so many different experiences. I think a lot of the times, especially in the self-development space, we feel like we need to change the things that we do in order to change the quality of our life. And yes, there is truth in that. But I think there is a simpler step, which is a much harder step. But by changing the way we perceive things, by being conscious of our thoughts and making ourselves think new thoughts about old things, we can start to change how we experience life. You might have a certain association with, I don't know, say your room, and it's just your room, you never thought about it. But is there a perspective that you can bring, an angle that you can change, which could change your entire relationship with your room, as ridiculous as it sounds? So now I want to ask you, which things or areas of your life will you try and think new thoughts about old things?